Steve Harris from White Maiden and British Lion. You're listening to Andrew McCasebit from Scars and Guitars.
G'day everyone, thanks very much for tuning in. This episode features a conversation with not one but two Dirkschneiders. I'm talking about Udo and his son Sven Dirkschneider. Get it out. The reason I'm talking to them is because Udo has a new album out. It's titled Balls to the Wall Reloaded, and if you know anything about his former band Accept, that album title should be very familiar because it's a re-recording, a reimagining is probably a better way to describe it, commemorating the 40th anniversary of the iconic album Balls to the Wall. Now, throughout the conversation, we discussed the prominent collaborations with Joakim Brodén from Sabaton, Doro, the lovely Doro, Biff Byford, many, many more. How did he select these artists and what was it like, the collaborative process? How did they approach to updating the sound or keeping it intact or neither? Reflecting on the album's legendary status, a commemorative tour that is indeed coming up. Yeah, lots of stuff. It was more of a conversation. Of course, you know what I'm all about. These aren't really interviews, they're informal chit-chats. But this one is really like that. I made a concerted effort to ensure that Sven was a significant part of this chat here because it's tempting to ignore the other party and focus on the heavy hitter, the person at the centre of a musical venture. But given Sven is Udo's son, that opens up a whole raft of topics, doesn't it? What was it like having a dad like Udo? That sort of thing. Not that he'd have any other basis for comparison because Udo's always been his dad. But yeah, we were talking about the relationship and his views on Udo growing up and having a dad who was, in inverted commas, a rock star. You'll hear all about it. All right, okay, so I'll put some album details in the episode description if you're curious. Otherwise, let's get to it. Here they are, Udo and Sven Dirkschneider.
Hello.
Guten Morgen, is that correct? Is it morning or evening?
Yeah, good morning.
Good evening from me to you and Sven. It's lovely to have Sven on board as well.
Hello.
Yeah.
There we go. So, yes. Yeah, Vanessa told me you'd be joining Sven, so that's great. Thank you for making it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having us.
No worries at all. Udo, you do thousands of these, or have done thousands of these, but we have had a conversation before, so it's lovely to make your acquaintance again, mate.
Yeah, good. I mean, why not? Of course. A new project, and so here we go. We have to talk about this.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, that'll be my first question for you. You've always been prolific, but is it the support of Reigning Phoenix or the new label and management that means that you can be even more prolific these days? Because I feel like as though there's a new release every year from you.
No, I mean, we were changing the record company for some other reason. I mean, so now, still the old guy from AFM is now with Reigning Phoenix together. It's the same guy. So for me, it's not a big change. Yeah, but I mean, they're doing a good job and I mean, they're really into that. And so I'm really happy now to work with them.
Fantastic. Yeah. All right. So, I mean, the opportunity this time around is because Balls to the Wall Reloaded. So you're commemorating the 40th anniversary of an iconic album, one of the most important albums in metal, it must be said. And
yeah, also for me.
Yeah, indeed. But it's certainly, it's one of those albums that it's tempting to sort of divide things up and say it's a very important German album, but it's more than that. It's an important album that had a big impact in Britain and also in the United States, which of course influenced us here in Australia.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So you've decided though to bring in some friends. So you've got Joakim from Sabaton. You've got the the ever lovely Doro, who's just a lovely lady. Biff from Saxon. There are many more. But I'll hand it over to you and I'll say, look, you've selected a bunch of artists to collaborate on each track. How did you choose for which song?
Oh, yeah. I mean, in a way, I think I know most of the singers, Dee Snider, Joakim of Sabaton, Biff, Doro, Michael Kiske, and also Miller, creator. Sven Morse, no, the younger generation. I mean, of course, I'm also really good friends with Ripper Owens. And yeah, I mean, in a way, we had already in our head who can sing which song, And I think in a way, if I'm right, Sven, I mean, I think was very clear with this, who is singing what.
Yeah, I mean, if you listen to the songs from the album Balls to the Wall, I think it was not a hard decision for us to picture already who could sing what. I mean, it could have been to do with the lyrics, like for example with "Fight It Back," we could hear Miller singing these lyrics because that would fit his style. And he totally agreed on that as well. Biff for London Leather Boys was obvious. Joakim of Sabaton for Balls to the Wall, the title track, it's like this marching theme going on and all that kind of stuff that fits to Sabaton. And he made the track even bigger, with his Sabatonish style of singing. And Michael Kiske on Losing More Than You've Ever Had was obvious for us. Doro and Winter Dreams made perfect sense.
Yes.
And Niels Molin on Head Over Heels was, I think, a big surprise for Niels that we wrote him. But I think he's one of the best voices in metal right now when it comes to clear singing. That made perfect sense for Head Over Heels. And Dee Snider on Losers and Winners, we needed some powerful, enthusiastic singing on this one. Danko Jones for Turn Me On, also to do with the lyrics. His lyrics are sometimes cheeky as well and go into the direction of that kind of song. So it all came together very nicely, and luckily everyone who is featured was very happy with the selection as well, so that made it easier, and everyone was very cooperative and very cool about it.
Yeah, and also what we did, we didn't say to the singers, you have to sing this line and this line and this line and this line. So we said, okay, please sing the whole song, so that it's much easier for us in the end to see which part fits best together with my voice, and so, yeah, I mean, that was also interesting. So now if you was listening to the whole song, for example, for Biff, and that could be also like London the Boys, a song of Saxon, or like Michael Kiske of Losing More You Ever Had, can be also a song of Halloween. He put his own character, Halloween style on this, I mean, and that I think makes the whole album interesting, that all the guest singers put their own character on each song, So I'm really happy, and so far we have a really, really good reaction on this album.
Yeah.
So I mean, normally people, we were not really sure in the beginning, that maybe people say, "Oh, they touch Balls to the Wall." Yeah, of course, if we do this on our own without guest singers and just re-record the whole thing, that can be wrong, but with this, what we did now with the guest singer, there is a different atmosphere on this album, a different type. I cannot really, it's different, It's still Balls to the Wall, but in a different way. And that's, I think, the good thing about it, and I'm really happy with it.
The cool thing is that the artists who are featured made their songs their own, and that was very, very important for us. We didn't want to have just a feature with Udo and please sing sentence number 2 out of verse 2 and blah, blah, blah. That was not our goal. We wanted them to make their own version of the song and then put it together with Udo's vocals, and that made it so special.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, that answers a few questions actually that I prepared, so that's great. Now, Udo, when we last spoke, you told me that you had the Animals and Santa Esmeralda song, Please Don't Let Me Be Misunderstood, in the can, but you couldn't get the rights to it to release it on the last album. So did you have any situation this time around where you recorded some vocal or you invited somebody and they couldn't participate or you couldn't use the track for whatever reason?
You mean for the Balls album?
Yeah, for this album. Yeah. Were there any complications?
Yeah, I mean that was like when I get the question right. That what you mean that we had somebody else in mind and
Yeah.
didn't get it. Yeah, I mean, so that was in a way for we were also asking Till Lindemann of Rammstein, but he sent us then an email and said, "Well, sorry, it's an honor, that you asked me. I mean, and we know that Rammstein, the most of them, they're huge Accept fans, and also Lizzie Hale. I mean, she was planned for Turn Me On, but then, business staff management, and they was working on the same they was recording a new album, and then when we came up with a schedule when we want to come out with the Waltz album, then they said no, it's not possible, we want to just focus on the album of Hellstorm, and yeah, so sometimes things that happened, but the rest of the guys, they was in a way from the beginning on clear, with D. Snyder, with Miller, with Biff and Doro and all that stuff, That was already from the beginning. That's the only two people, we are missing. But anyway, I mean, I think we have a good collection on singers and guest singers, and I think it works out without the two guest singers.
What about, I mean, you've probably been asked this question, but just in case you haven't, were there any complications with Wolf and with Accept's management?
No.
There was no communication at all. Why?
No,
I mean,
no.
Udo and Peter own the rights. So, I mean...
Yeah, but I mean, everybody can make record the Waltz album, as if they don't change arrangements or stuff like that. You can do that. My brother can do it. My sister, whatever, you don't have to ask. No, I mean, there was about this. There was no communication. I mean, in a way, I mean, with Peter and me.
Yeah.
Singing and playing on this album, and I mean, of course, the third member of Accept, Stefan Kaufmann, was behind the scene. He was very much involved in recording the drums and showed Sven how he had to play the Accept songs right. With a little secret. He was very much involved in guitar stuff. He was sitting together with the guitar players and told them, okay, how they have to play the rhythm guitars exactly, that it's getting nearly perfect, I mean, Stefan, he was a member of UDO, I don't know, for a long time. And I know he's a really brilliant rhythm guitar player, he's a machine. And also Stefan is definitely a guy, he's really critical. I mean, Sven, can he tell you also something about this?
Yeah, I mean, Stefan will always tell you if he doesn't like something, or if he will tell you right away. And he's very straightforward. So if he doesn't like something when we record, he's very straightforward as well. So that makes it more productive, because you don't have to, see what the guy's actually meaning, and is he telling me the truth? Is he just saying this is good but he thinks it's bad or whatever? So it makes it easier in the studio, but also you have to face facts. If he doesn't like something, then you have to keep up with it and say, okay, I will have to do it better. So it was very productive work with Stefan, and I was nervous when I recorded the drums, because I had the original sitting there on the mixing desk recording my tracks. But it was really cool to have him and to hear his feedback on what he thinks and put my touches on it. Like, he let me do that, which I really appreciate, and it's a big honor.
Yeah, and I mean, also be honest, on this album, Balls Reloaded, I mean, 3 original members of Accept was working on that, but you can have more. I mean, come on. This is also a thing, everybody's like, okay, it's like, 3 members of Accept was working on this album, so, I mean, it's the same what for me, when it came to record my vocals, I was quite nervous, you know. I mean, so I can reach all the high notes and all that stuff, you know. But in the end, it works. So I'm happy. And also, I mean, we did already some shows in South America with the Ball to the Wall album, and so it was not a problem to sing them live also, you know. So that means everything fine, and I'm really looking forward now to the European tour what's coming up.
Okay, well, that was going to be my next question. Actually, you read my mind on that one there. So, with the tour, I suppose in a way it's a bit over 40 years, but you know, you're commemorating the 40th anniversary of the album. So, how are you going to do that? And are you going to be inviting any of the guests on the album along for the tour?
Oh, we try to get some guests, you know, on stage, but this is like. We will see. We do our best, you know. Maybe in Germany I think that will be definitely maybe Doro. I think she really was already talking about, would love to do Winter Dream with you on stage. And we will see. I mean, we do this year, we do Wacken, and Saxon is there. So maybe Biff will join us for London Leather Boys. We will see who is around, you know, and then hopefully we can get some guest singers on stage with us. And but I mean, the whole tour now is we play the entire album from like it is on the album. Yeah. So, and around this, in my opinion, this will be the best set list ever with except songs, you know. This is like a hit parade for me, you know. And I mean, I know which songs the people want to hear. And together with the Waltz album, I think the people really enjoy the shows, definitely.
Mm. Yeah, okay. So, look, it does beg the question. The album's very good, by the way. I really like what Max did with Sepultura, the first two albums there, and I really like what you guys have done and the team have done with this one here as well. But another anniversary is coming up. It's this year for Metal Heart. You've probably So, can you potentially think about doing the same thing there?
I don't know. I mean, in a way, say never, but definitely. At the moment, we're on tour with the Balls anniversary album. The tour will go until the summer next year. Definitely. I mean, we try to come back to Australia. We have to go to America, Canada, Japan, South America. I mean, that will be a long tour. And so in the summer now, this year, we work already on the new UDO album. And after the Ball thing is finished, then we concentrate again on UDO. Metal Heart, maybe when it gets 50 years old. Or maybe 45 years. I don't know. Never say never, but at the moment there is no plan to do this, you know. Definitely not.
Yeah, it's not. I want to say unbelievable. Of course, here we are having this conversation 40 years, a bit over 40 years after the release of Balls to the Wall.
Yeah, but I forgot one thing. When it was planned to do the Metal Heart anniversary, we had already the show was booked for Wacken to celebrate 40 years of or 35 years of Metal Heart. But then we had, sorry.
35 years, it was. But then COVID came. I mean, that's the whole thing why we are here now in 2025, pulling off the tour. Because I mean, you make plans, and then there's COVID, and then you can't tour, and you can't release, and you can't do this and that. So we were busy in 2024 with our Touchdown album with UDO. So that's why we couldn't squeeze in another tour, and that's why we shifted plans for 2025 . But I mean, if we only would do anniversary tours by now, then
we can make one every year.
Literally. But I got to be honest though, fellas. You know that's what fans want.
In a way, you are right.
Yeah, of course. I mean, if you celebrate all these classic records, that is a great thing. But I mean, us as musicians, we also want to put out new music, which I think is natural and You want to create new stuff that the fans like, and I think we hit the spot with this one, with the Touchdown album with UDO as well. I mean, the feedback from the fans was amazing for that record. We were really surprised on how well received the songs were on the tour that we did. So that tells you that, yeah, it could be great to do anniversary tours as well, but there needs to be the time for that as well, you know?
Yeah. So we will see, but we're always good for surprises. Let's say it in this way.
Yeah. Hey, Sven, for you, was it always on the cards for you, as far as you're concerned, that you'd end up working with your father?
No, not at all. No, no. I mean, I did music, or yeah, I'm doing music my whole life. I started when I was 4, playing drums, and then I don't know, ended up in a church choir, like getting educated in music and all that kind of stuff. And I formed my first band, which was a cover band, when I was 12, and then we started writing own material. Then there came the time when school was basically done and everyone had to decide on what they want to do in their lives, and blah, blah, blah. And of course, my parents told me as well that they want me to do something, so to speak, proper, you know, before even thinking about going into music, which I'm very happy I did. And I did my apprenticeship and I finished that. But while I was doing that, I was already on tour with my dad. And then I ended up working for Saxon in 2013 and 14. And I went on tour with them. And then I ended up playing with them in 2015. Because we had to reschedule some shows because the drummer got sick, Nigel, and Biff called me and asked me if I wanted to play these 5 shows in the UK, which is, I mean, I was like, what? Why is he calling me? I mean, there's so many other great players out there, but obviously he trusted in me. I mean, I've been on tour with them for a whole year. I knew the set list. He saw me playing on sound checks and stuff like that every day. And the same time around in 2014, my dad was looking for a new drummer, and he visited us on tour in Berlin, talked to Biff, and I didn't even catch that conversation because I was busy working. And yeah, a couple of weeks later, he calls me and asks me if I want to join UDO, because Biff apparently said that, why would you look so far? Just take your son. I mean, he's able to do it. So there I am. In the end of 2014, I had over 50 songs to learn. And that was the point of no return. If I said yes, or if I say yes to both of that, then I will definitely end up playing drums, hopefully my whole life. And I took this route, and I took it very serious, and I still do until today. Yeah, here I am 10 years later. I'm in the band for 10 years now in March.
Yes.
And it's great. I mean, we developed over the years as well. We do a lot of stuff together when it comes to music. We are writing lyrics together. We create melodies together. And we do the business side together. So, yeah, it developed, and I'm really proud that we did it, and it works out great.
So when you were growing up, did you have an awareness that your father was in the spotlight and was a, you know, relatively famous musician?
I mean, in the beginning, you don't really realize, right? I mean, you're a young kid, and it's just it's your father in the first place, and then of course you become different as soon as other people in the kindergarten or school ask you what are your parents doing for a job, and then
it's also interesting story at school.
And then you tell them, yeah, my dad is a singer, and then they go, cool, so he's, I don't know, singing pop music, or he's singing in a church, whatever, you know, like no, he's doing heavy metal. And then the world changes drastically for them. I mean, it's like heavy metal still is sometimes, I don't know how it is today because I'm not young anymore, but back in the day when I was young, people were like confronted by that, you know, for whatever reason. They thought that my parents only take drugs and drink alcohol, and they couldn't come to play with me at my home because the parents wouldn't allow it. So very, very difficult as well for a child who just is a normal child, you know, and wants to have friends and stuff like that. But we always managed to openly speak about it, you know. I mean, it was nothing that I don't know interfered with my development, you know, anything like that. But it is strange and then you suddenly realize, okay, it means something. and there's like an international fan base, and my dad is known in I don't know how many countries worldwide. So that does something to you, obviously. I mean, then you start realizing, okay, people are aware of what my dad does, and that he's a singer and he's famous. And we went to so many shows and met people. When I think about it now, it's crazy. I mean, I sat behind Mickey D when they played with Motorhead in Düsseldorf here in Germany. I sat behind him for the whole show, and I didn't know what it meant back then. You know, now when I think back and I meet Mickey at festivals and we maybe play the same stage, it's funny. You know, we talk about it, and he's like, "Yeah, I know you since you're a little child, and you sat behind me," which is crazy. You know, it means more now than it did back in the day, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah, what's your take on things, Udo? Is it? I mean, I'm asking you with Sven on the call, but what's it like having your son in the band?
Yeah, for me, I mean, of course, now 10 years. I mean, the time is running so fast, you know. But I mean, the only thing I can say is he's a brilliant drummer. It's not only me. It's not only me. I say this is a lot of people also in the business that say, "Wow, that is a brilliant drummer." And of course, I'm really proud of him, you know. And also for me, it's like what he said before. What we are doing now together, you know, it's like in a way a family business. And music-wise, for me, it's like, you know, it's not only Sven, it's also with the two other members, the young kids, I would say, like the two guitar players, having three young people in the band. And Peter and me, we are the older people, you know, and working together on music. And you get the young people inspire us, you know, with different ideas and stuff like that. I mean, this is keeps you going, and it means you are still creative, you know. You're not like, I'm always like an open-minded guy, you know. I mean, if Sven comes up when we start working on melodies, he's sometimes coming up with crazy things, you know. And then I said, okay, let's try it. And then we would see how it works, you know. So that means I'm still learning in a way, you know, from young people. This is also an interesting thing. And if you are open-minded, so what? I mean, the best thing is like Touchdown. The album Touchdown is modern, aggressive, but still melodies. There's a really good mix-up, you know, and that's. I'm really happy with, and yeah, it's good to have him definitely in the band.
There you go, yeah. Fellas, I'll just do a time check. I've now gone 26 minutes. Have we got more time, or is that it?
I think we can go for a couple of more, but then I think we got to go.
Yeah, it's
sure thing.
A lot of interview today.
That's all right. Yeah, I'll ask one more question. Never enough time, mate, fellas, is there? That's the problem with
Always,
these things.
right?
I feel like I'm used to doing longer ones, and it's always great talking to people that have been in the spotlight and getting your perspective on things, because there's so many questions I want to ask about the 80s and stuff. But Udo, I will ask about the 1990s, because I know, and again, you know, I remember having these conversations, but because you do so many, I wouldn't expect you to remember us having this conversation. But the 1990s is very challenging for heavy metal, just about everywhere except for Germany.
I mean, I mean, at this time there was like Nirvana and all this stuff going on, you know. And in the 90s, metal was not that popular. And I remember a lot of people, a lot of bands, you know, they was try to changing, you know. Oh no, we have to be like this and this. And for me, it was always important to stay to my what I did, heavy metal, you know. Of course, it was not so easy in the 90s, but in the end, for me, it was like, no, I don't want to change, you know. I want to stay to my roots and what I did for over, I don't know how many years. And so, and in the end, it was right, you know, and this kind of music was coming back. It has a big revival, and still it's going on, you know. It's this kind of music still is alive. And so, I mean, I do this now for over, like, professional-wise, over 40 years. And I mean, I'm still there, so that means I think I did something right, you know.
So you've done a few things right, not just one thing, but many things right. So there you go. I'll leave it there, fellas. Until the next one, no doubt with the amount of releases you've got planned, we'll have another opportunity to chat. But it's a pleasure to catch up again, and good luck with the tour. And hopefully, fingers crossed, we see you down here.
Oh
That
yeah,
would be
we are
awesome.
working.
We'd love
We
to
are
come back.
working. We are working very hard on this. You know, I really want to come back to Australia and do some more shows than only Melbourne and Sydney.
Brisbane.
Yeah, looking forward to
definitely Brisbane.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Catch up. As I said throughout the conversation with Udo and Sven, there's never enough time in these things. I need at least an hour and a half, I reckon. The good stuff usually comes after a half an hour, and I would have been able to dive a lot deeper had we had the time, but it's just not the way these things operate most of the time. But I'm grateful for any time, I must say. So thanks to John and Reigning Phoenix Records for setting that one up. All right, that's it from me. My name's Andrew Mackay-Smith. Go across to Scars and Guitars if you're curious. You know, there's lots going on for the show. Plenty, actually. I've got a Stuart Ansters commemorative T-shirt in the pipeline. The chat with Adrian Smith will drop sometime, well, I can tell you exactly when, April 4. There you go, April 4, 2025. It's just about to wrap up, wasn't I? So I'll do it again. My name's Andrew Mackay-Smith. I'm the host of Scars and Guitars. Until the next one, goodbye for now.